Welcome, listeners, to a very special No Ego podcast, because not only are you getting great audio with an awesome guest, we'll get to Fia in just a moment, but we're doing this on videotape as well. I want you visually to understand some of the techniques that Fia brings to the table, and I just thought it would be fun to meet up today in San Diego. So Fia Fasbinder is very special to me. She is my own personal coach. My speaking coach, right? Her kids coach me on breakdancing and fundraising. I get coached whenever I'm with this family. Many of you have said, you know, you've always loved my speaking, but you've noticed I've upped my game in the last year and a half, and I wanted to bring you my secret weapon. I can't keep Fia secret anymore. She's my personal coach. She's been working with me and upping my game speaking to be the most effective speaker possible on stage. She's worked with my team. She is the CEO and founder of the Moxie Institute. Welcome, Fia. I'm so glad that you're here.
The secret is out.
The secret's out. Most vulnerable thing I've ever done is surrender to speaking coaching.
Yeah.
Do people tell you that?
Yes.
It's like, because I just want to talk about it, but you're like, no, get up and let me see you. I'm like, well, we can do that later. Like, vulnerable.
For many reasons. First of all, public speaking is a skill.
Yeah.
So like any skill, we don't learn by talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Even though that's safe and it's really easy to, you know, connect with people on LinkedIn that are also keynoters and listen to TED Talks about keynoting.
Yeah.
We don't get better unless we actually bump up against our comfort zone.
And that was something for me that I knew there was a few skills, but I was kind of a natural speaker. I gave my first speech like in the fourth grade.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just kind of thought you either have it or you don't have it. Yeah. And if you don't have it, too bad. And if you have it, that's as good as it's going to get. And I thought it was more like some days you're on and some days you're off. But you really have taught me it is this set of skills that need practice and rehearsed and
Completely. And one of the things people always say to me is they'll see a really amazing keynoter like you. And they'll say, "Oh my gosh, that person's just, you know, natural up there. They were just born like a natural keynoter. Like they came out of the womb orating, right?"
Yeah, and they
what they're
won
doing
the lottery.
is like they're confusing an attribute with a skill, because what they don't see is all the hours behind the scenes, behind the stage, that you were chipping away at this skill, that you were making yourself vulnerable, that you were failing forward, that you were, you know, taking risks, messing up, trying it different ways, me throwing a ton of things. They don't see that. All they see is the finished product, and so they think she's just natural. She was just born that way, right? But this is a skill, which means it's a good thing that everybody can improve.
Everybody can do it. Everybody can improve.
Everybody.
And I didn't realize that, but all my early years, you know, I think the coaching part is vulnerable. Vulnerable is I would get on stage and I would tell a story a certain way and notice kind of the laugh track on it. And I would remember that line and I would nail it this way. And so a lot of people are like, "Sai, you're so funny," right? And it's really, I have fine-tuned over time some funny stories that, when delivered well, give people some space to laugh. So people ask me all the time, forget public speaking. They want a seat at the table. They want to be valued for their contributions. They feel like they've been overlooked, not just for promotions, we're over those days, that they've been overlooked for really being asked to do the interesting work. I absolutely believe when I see them in meetings, it's this lack of executive presence, the lack of ability to tell their own story or the story of their team. So this isn't just public speaking. I mean, you work with tons of executives, emerging execs.
It's executive presence. A lot of what we do takes place outside of a big stage, a conference stage. It takes place in boardrooms, in one-on-one meetings with your team, internal communications. I'll give you an example. We're training a woman now who came to us, a senior vice president, whose voice sounds something like this. It's very high up like this in her head, and it's very light. And she's not being taken seriously, right? Her team is not listening to her. And when we looked at her messaging is really strong.
And she's brilliant.
What's not strong is her voice, which we call vocal executive presence, right? So dropping her voice down so that it's grounded, it's strong, it's firm. And there's a seamless message of authority from what she's saying to how she's saying it. And there's been such a transformation in the way people view her. And I think part of that is the psychology, right? I think she didn't believe that she, had this confidence to lead this team, and so that they didn't believe in her.
And it comes through.
But like subtle changes to the way you present your message, even dropping your voice down, it's like this new person, right? This strong woman with a strong message.
And it's the balance, because I also work out there preaching and teaching about, let's all just move through our biases and accept people for who they are. Like, it doesn't matter that my leader has a voice that isn't, commanding. There's the let's all love each other, but there's the science behind if you end your sentences with an inflection that goes up versus down, people's brain cue in differently. And so what I love about your work is you're not trying to take away our authenticity.
At all.
You're trying to help, at least for me, become aware of some things I do, that if I got more intentional, I could help my team. I could...
Completely.
My work could have more value. And so a lot of times in the olden days, speaker training was to make you like the guy next door.
Cutter, everybody looks the same. No, this is about developing your, what we call authentic speaker persona.
I love that about your work.
It's all about awareness, right? Whereas before, this woman might not even have known that this kind of high, girly voice was undermining her perception of authority. Now she's aware of it, right? So when you're aware of something, then you can decide if you need to change it or not change it, right? Yeah. And one of the things I love, too, is this idea of happy warrior, which came out of Amy Cuddy's work,
I love
right?
her work.
So what this woman has going for her authentically is warmth, is connection with her team, is empathy. And so when you combine that with a very strong voice, then you have this happy warrior, right?
And that's what I love, especially you work with both men, women, and
absolutely
wherever you are on the spectrum, whatever you identify with. But I love especially your work with women in using not only the science, but some of our best resources, like Amy's work and Glennon Doyle's work, and just helping us tap into the authenticity, so it's not about being equal. Now, I would tell you the reason it was really vulnerable is not just, you would say, show me and do this. It's also vulnerable because your feedback, you are the best at giving one sentence feedback, short, unsugar-coated, not unkind. It was sweet feedback. But I mean, to tell somebody something so personal like that voice that you were born with and how it's just not going to work for you.
Yeah.
I would tell you, I was pretty mature in getting feedback when we started working together. But is that tough for people in the beginning where you're like, oh, we just aren't doing that?
Well, I think feedback is a science and an art too, right? The way you give feedback. I operate in a place of radical candor with all of my clients. And so because of that, they can trust me that I'm not going to just tell you it's great.
Yeah.
If it's not great, because that's not going to help you grow.
That way, when you do say it's great, I feel like, oh my gosh.
I want to point out all the things you're doing really well. And here's where we can also continue to grow. And, public speaking is, a lot of it is being comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? So there's nothing comfortable about putting yourself out there to begin with. And then doing it, as you did, in front of your team, which was the most vulnerable thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just really laying yourself bare, which was so commendable and so amazing. And that's what I love. I mean, I love seeing that transformation. That's what I live for. So when
crazy.
I get to give a keynoter that's already good and helping you go to great, and I can see the transformation when I give you subtle direction, like, what if we tried it this way? Or what if you acted out with your body? And it transforms this keynote. I mean, to me, that's where it's at. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. So.
And for me, it was, we did kind of a spurt in the vet, but it's, for me, I'm ready for like my next session, like the next, like, where do we go from here? I really want to get to the content. You have so many great tips that just are not something you can just get off Instagram. So I know that you have the Institute where people come for multiple days. You've handpicked some folks. You teach it as well.
Yeah.
Where, if you could just say, I've got 10 minutes with you, check this or think this, or where do you, what are your go-tos when you want to help many people improve quickly?
Yeah. So that's interesting to think about because I have so many, right? But the kind of umbrella concept over all of them is applying key performing arts techniques.
Yeah.
To public speaking.
Which I love about you, because you're an actor.
Because I'm an actor first and foremost, and then a teacher, and now a public speaking coach. So what can I cull from my background as an actor that will help you in your presentation? So all of my favorite go-to tips are things that actors learn to do, and now I apply to TED speakers and all my clients that will help them give authentic, confident, natural presentation. So,
which I love, yeah, because coming into public speaking, I wanted to focus on PowerPoint, the content, and how I deliver. I wasn't focusing on developing the way actors develop, whether it was breathing or getting rid of extra energy or all the things that can get in your way if you walk out cold to a stage.
Completely, and it's all important, right? Your content is the foundation. It's it is absolutely so important, but the way you deliver that content can absolutely undermine or amplify.
Yep, absolutely.
So we want to amplify, right?
Couple techniques then. Yeah, let's do some.
So here's what I think we should do.
I feel like we're talking loud because we're talking about public speaking.
Because we're about to give a presentation. This is not what we want to do.
Yeah.
So why don't we do a warm-up?
Because
you're going to do a keynote soon.
In a few hours,
Let's warm you up, and then we can do this again before. So we have to stand for the warm-up.
You've got it? Can we do this?
Can we do this? I'll take massive groups of people through pre-presentation warm-up.
Okay.
Because I think it's kind of like a micro sample of what we do on a large scale if we work together. So.
And it feels and looks silly. This is game-changing. It's so subtle.
It feels and looks ridiculous, but I guarantee you, if you walked into any theater or any movie set backstage, you would see actors warming up, right? The same way athletes warm up, because, you know, when we speak, our instrument is our body and our voice. That's all we have to convey our message. So it's important that we warm that up, right? So sometimes I'll say, like, can you imagine any pro athlete, like Super Bowl player, going into the Super Bowl without having warmed up?
Yeah.
Or saying something like, oh, I'm so nervous about this, I think I'll just pass this opportunity up. No, they warm up, they prepare so that they can bring their A game, right?
And this isn't just warming up for the twice a year you're the CEO on the stage. Like, it's getting intentional to even go into important meetings and places, even one-on-ones where you need to move somebody into some action.
I have groups of engineers now that at corporations across the United States that will go into the parking lot and do this warm-up together before they have to do their executive briefings. Okay, so any good warm-up has a couple different components. We need to be present and be mindful and kind of get out of our head, which is where we tend to go. Pre-presentation, we start to get in that kind of hamster wheel of worry. So we're going to do some mindfulness work. We need to do some breath work. And the science behind the breath work on a very just high level is that when we flood our body with extra oxygen, we lower our heart rate, which is where it's at.
And it resets your nervous system, which
and it brings back the blood flow to your prefrontal cortex, so you don't blank out on stage. So that we're going to do some breath work, and then we need to do a little bit of warming up our bodies so we're nice and loose and relaxed on stage, and then our mouths as well.
I love the mouth.
So we're going to do a whole warm up. So everybody first just close your eyes. I'll keep my eyes open since I'm leading this, but I'll lead Sai through this. So close your eyes and take a few big, deep breaths into your belly. Good. And while you're taking those breaths in, just come to the present moment. Hear the sounds in the room. Feel the temperature of the air in the room. Feel the sensation of your clothes on your body and your body on the ground. Your shoes, feel your shoes, your feet inside your shoes on the ground. And when you're ready, still with your eyes closed, take a big deep breath into your belly and let out a ha.
Ha.
Good. And this time when you let out that ha, let out all that stress or tiredness, any kind of stagnant energy. Excellent. Good. One more time. Ha. Good. Perfect. And you can open your eyes. Good. So now now that we've kind of come to the present moment, and this is a very short warm up. This is like a mini one, but it'll still work. We're just going to make sure our bodies are nice and relaxed. So roll your head around on your shoulders. Pretend it's like a giant bowling ball, and you can't even lift it up. It's super heavy. Good. And while you're doing this, keep breathing. Do not hold your breath.
I hold my breath all the time, people.
I'm watching you hold your breath. I'm watching you hold your breath. So just really tell your body, release, release, release any tension. Good. Now your shoulders, roll your shoulders forward. Good. We hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. We don't want to go on stage looking like Frankenstein. So really just release them. Good. Now we're going to do our lower back and our hip flexors. We hold a lot of tension here, especially men hold a lot of tension here. So this is kind of an odd one. I know it's a cheesy analogy, but bear with me because it works. I want you to imagine that you're a tree blowing in the wind and your trunk is grounded and your top half is blowing in the wind, right? So your legs don't move, and if your back cracks, that's great. Good. Keep breathing into that. Good. And then the last one to just check in with our body and release all that tension is the ragdoll. So on the count of 3, I just want you to imagine that you're ragdoll, and I want you to flop over as far as you can. I know you're in your keynoting outfit, so that you can only flop so far, but that's okay. Just let everything limp over. Okay, 1, 2, 3, good. Good. Now come up really slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. Like someone's just pulling your spine. Click, 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 click. And when you get to the top, take a deep breath. Good. So we did the mindfulness, we relaxed our body a little bit, so now we need to get our chi flowing, right? So we need to get our energy going again. This is a great one if you're feeling, you know, really maybe tired before a meeting, an afternoon meeting where you have to speak and your instinct is to like slam some coffee. Instead, I would recommend you do this. Let all your natural adrenaline and, you know, kick in and those hormones kick in their presentation.
Yeah. And once you learn to use those as your energy, you'll notice it on stage that it's organic energy, not caffeinated energy.
Norepinephrine and norepinephrine will naturally, those hormones will naturally kick in. What happens if you give coffee, you know, put coffee into that mix also is sometimes it's too much.
Yeah.
So I always say wait for that post-presentation crash to have your coffee and do this before. So here's what we're going to do to get our chi flowing. I want you to shake your hand really hard. Shake, 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 shake. Good, let it drop. Shake this one. Shake, 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 let it drop. Now your foot. Shake, 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 let it drop. Now shake, 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 shake. Now we're going to do that same thing and we're going to count down.
I love this one.
We'll do it from
What's our quote at the end?
Yeah, there's a quote at the end. She's a spoiler alert.
I'm sorry.
My warm-up.
I love this stuff. Isn't it crazy?
Okay.
This seems like it won't work. I'm telling you, it's a freaky game changer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm the freaky game changer.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're going to go from 5 to 1.
Okay.
And we're going to really nice loud voices, projecting, not screaming. Don't push from here. You'll lose your voice before your presentation. But just really shaking, waking your body up, and nice loud voices. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yes, you did it.
Love it.
Okay.
I like to imagine, like, actresses behind stage doing this.
Yes, it just, you feel pumped up. You feel really ready to go. You know, I have a lot of people that will also listen to music beforehand, and I can tell the people that are doing this and like listening to like rock music or hip hop music, they're really pumped and ready to go. Okay, so
it also gets your nervous energy out. If you've ever walked on stage and you find this tightness, it totally takes out all nervous energy.
So what happens when our body, and I'll just talk about this really quickly, our body goes into fight or flight, is adrenaline hits our bloodstream, and we're meant to run or flee, or run or fight, right? But when we are giving a presentation, we're like stuck there. So if you don't do anything beforehand to get all of that adrenaline out of your system and get your body loose and relaxed, I guarantee you're going to start to
like this
freeze up on stage. That's your body's natural fight or flight. Right?
And what most people are doing is they're trying to remember their intro.
Right.
But you should be rehearsed way past that so that the intro is natural. So a lot of people are up in their heads before they go on. They're super small. I see them backstage. They're like, okay, what's my intro? What's my intro? And it makes so much difference to...
So this is about getting into your body,
out of your head.
getting out of your head, right? And open, open, open. Again, fight or flight, we want to get small. We got to open. Those minor tweaks to our body have a major impact in the way
they really do.
Okay, so we just went through our whole body, as you know, to make sure we're nice and relaxed and we have our chi flowing and we can present with confidence, with nice, open, strong, relaxed bodies. So now we need to do the same thing for our mouth. We need to do
This is the funniest one.
It is really funny.
I never knew this made a difference, and it makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference, because one of the things I like to say is that great leaders never mumble, right? So we want to make sure that we're speaking with clear, clear, open mouths for many reasons. To be heard, to be understood, and also when we speak with really open mouths, there's a perception of purpose, of passion, right? If you were to turn the sound off on probably most of your videos and just watch your mouth, hopefully post working with me, you would see really nice open mouths, right? If we look at some of the great orators, we see that they're really opening their mouths. So,
and for me, when I do it, it gets me intentional about what I'm saying, and it slows me down, and it leaves even space for me to listen to others better. It's like awesome.
It's all about awareness, right? Awareness that we should be opening our mouths, hitting our end sounds, and speaking with purpose and passion. So this is like a little mini gym workout for your mouth, okay? So the first thing I'm going to have you do is a stretching exercise so that we can speak clearly and not trip over our words, because that's the worst, right? When you fumble on a word during a keynote, it's so embarrassing and you get stuck there. So this will help you avoid that. So we're going to do what I call lion mouse, okay? So when I say lion, you're going to stretch your face like a big lion yawning, okay? And when I say mouse, you're going to scrunch into a little mouse. Okay. And it is ridiculous, but it works. And I have no idea how to get you to speak clearly other than to do these exercises. Okay. Right? So here we go. Lion. Stick your tongue out. Really stretch, stretch, stretch. Mouth. Mouse. Scrunch into a little mouse. Lion. Mouse. Lion. Mouse. And you don't have to do the hands. Helps me get into character, but you don't have to do it. Lion. Mouse. Lion. Mouse. Lion. Good. Good. Now blow through your lips like a horse, like this. Good. Now on sound. I know, ridiculous. Don't do this in front of your audience, backstage, right, or in the car.
It even freaks out the audio people backstage.
Yeah. The last one I want you to say, wee, wee, wah.
Wee, wee, wah.
Wee, wee, wah.
Wee, wee, wah.
One more time.
Wee, wee, wah.
And then my favorite tongue twister, remember the money. Say that 5 times. Go.
Remember the money.
Open your mouth more.
Remember the money. Remember the money. Remember the money. Remember the money.
Good. So now your face and your facial muscles and your mouth should be feeling a lot more relaxed. So the last kind of cherry on top for any good pre-presentation, warm-up, pre-game ritual is some mindset, right? So my favorite is I throw my hands up in the air a la Amy Cuddy, and I say a line from Cyrano de Bergerac, which is, I feel too strong to war with mortals, bring me giants, right?
I love it.
Okay? But you can do anything that works for you. You got this, whatever it is that's going to make you feel powerful. Like the subject matter expert that you are. But we'll do mine because this is what works for me. Okay?
And I love this. I have adopted it.
So here we go.
I feel too strong to war with mortals. Bring me giants.
I did not believe you. One more time. Go.
I feel too strong to war with mortals. Bring me giants.
Okay, that's it.
Nice.
Good to go.
And typically when I go, and I've had coaching, they look at my PowerPoint, they want to hear, and they want to wordsmith my words and craft my message. That's what a lot of people think about at training or when we work with people who are going to present to a board, that we need to make sure their information's good. What I love about you is you make sure we are good, so that no matter what comes up from the audience, it's like you're open, your heart chakra's open, you're aligned, you're like ready to go. I love the warm-ups.
And look, it's all important, right? This is about going from good to great. So your content was already good. Your PowerPoint was already good.
Because you can do that. I don't want to give people the impression you don't do that.
That's the foundation of your message. So,
and for my TED Talk, you guys really helped me craft messaging to get things concise and succinct and clear. So yeah.
One of the studies I love to quote when I need buy-in from people about why this is important is a study called the Moravian Study. And it's the most historic and seminal study they've ever done on an audience's perception of a speaker's credibility. They studied 3 things: body language, tone of voice, and content. And it was over 450,000 audience members and several hundred speakers. And the percentages are amazing. So 38% of the audience's perception of the speaker's credibility was based on tone of voice.
Yeah, so important.
I think you're credible, and I trust you, and I think you are a subject matter expert because of how you sound, right? Your voice isn't shaking, it's powerful, it's grounded, you're pausing, you're taking your time. 55% of the audience's perception of speaker credibility was
body language.
I think you're credible because you're open, you're not shaking, you are, strong up there, you look comfortable on stage. And only 7%
is anything to do with what you say.
So this is not to say your content isn't important.
Yeah.
Your content is the foundation, but the way you deliver that content can 100% amplify or undermine your message.
My content has not changed all that much in years, but my working with you has changed the reception of my content tremendously, it proves right? that it amplifies it. It amplifies it. Exactly awesome. Right. Okay. Well, we're warmed up. Let's sit back down.
So sit down.
Yeah. Now we're going to sit down.
Sit down.
Counterintuitive. But I'm so grateful for the warm-up pieces. And I know there's lots of other tips that you give. That people can even just at home at their next presentation at work get intentional about.
Sure.
What are some of the things to watch for? What are some of the common mistakes that if we got intentional?
Sure.
Because I think I'm doing great, and I see the videotape, I'm like, I can't believe I do that irritating thing all the time.
I would go so far as to say most of our unintentional and unaware habits as speakers come from holding our breath. I geek out all day, every day about the importance of breath support and diaphragmatic breathing. And it's something that most people aren't trained to do or don't know how to use it as speakers. And so learning how to breathe so that you can come to the present moment, be mindful, tune in to your own body, and also lower your heart rate, bring back circulation to your brain. Yeah. Is so key.
Because some people like to just check out, use hope as their strategy, wake up when the speech is over and go, oh my gosh, how did I do?
Right? They're literally fleeing their own body, right? It's like an out-of-body experience. We train speakers like that all the time that are like, I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah.
And it is happening because they're holding their breath. So
it's
when we hold our breath, this is cascading fight or flight. It gets worse, right? It's our body's threat reaction kicking into high gear because your body doesn't know the difference between fear of giving a speech or fear of this really high stakes meeting and fear of being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger.
Exactly.
It just knows fear. So it is going to give you the same threat reaction no matter what. So it is our job to use our prefrontal cortex and to say, you know what, brain, body, I got this. I know you're trying to protect me, but I am safe and I am fine. And the only way to do that is to breathe.
And so you have to prove it by breathing.
So let's just do a really, really quick breathing exercise because that's something we didn't do. And I actually like to incorporate this into my warm-up. So the breathing exercise that will help you bring oxygen back into your bloodstream is different than the breathing that you use for a powerful voice.
Okay.
And all the studies have shown that the way you reduce your heart rate and calm and ground yourself with breathing is actually steady breathing. So I know people always say, like, take a deep breath, relax, right? But it's actually not
It's regulated breathing.
It's smooth, even breathing. So I like to think of, if you can imagine like a crew team rowing when their oars go in the water. They're like in, hold, out, hold, in, hold. So that's what we're going to do with our breath, okay? And the studies actually show that it's a fixed ratio of 4-4-4.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for a count of 4. We're going to hold our breath for a count of 4. And we're going to breathe out for a count of 4. And if you do this 3 to 5 times before a presentation, and you can do this somewhat subtly, and you can do it while you're sitting at the boardroom table waiting for your turn to present, or you can do it, if you're in a room with other people, you can still do it. But we're going to do it for now. We're going to do it very audibly so you can bring awareness to what you're doing. So when you breathe in, I want you to breathe in through your nose like this. And when you breathe out, I want you to breathe out like you're blowing out a candle. Okay? So I'm going to count, and you're going to breathe. So for now, everyone that's doing this at home, and so I can do this too, put your hand here on your belly, because this is where your diaphragm is, and we want to just bring body awareness right now to this area. And I want you to imagine that inside your belly you have a giant balloon. Okay?
Yeah, or just
Giant
push
balloon.
your Spanx. You just have to work your Spanx.
Yeah, if you've got Spanx on, this is, you're really going to work your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is a muscle, and it's dome-shaped, and it goes like this, and it pushes oxygen in and out of your lungs. But the problem is when we are nervous, our diaphragm tightens.
So
because behind our
up here.
diaphragm is all our vital organs. So our body is literally
protecting
us from being attacked.
Yeah.
So when we do this breathing exercise, we will relax our diaphragm, we will lower our heart rate, and we will bring all that good circulation back to our body so we can present with confidence.
Love it.
And connection. So put your hands here, and then when I'm going to count, and you're going to breathe. Okay? And we're going to breathe in, hold, and then breathe out for 4 counts. Here we go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Again, breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. And this last time when you breathe in, I want you to imagine that you're breathing in energy and light into your body and power. And when you're breathing out, any kind of stagnant, bad energy that's left in your body, it's all going to go out. Okay, breathe in. 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And that's it.
That's it. And this isn't just for public speaking. I preach breath.
It's for life.
It's for life. So leaders, your assignment is when you're at a meeting to get intentional and not be operating out of ego and fight or flight, but to get to the higher part of your brain. Just do 12 count breathing.
Seriously,
like it's important.
It's so good for so many reasons. So many reasons. Mindfulness, coming to the present moment, and those shallow chest breaths. That's when we start to get into our fight or flight. And some of us get combative, right? Like either we're going to flee and we're going to have an out of body experience, or we're going to get small. And then we see, if you notice your breathing, if you're actually fighting with your spouse, with a colleague, it is short and shallow breaths. Yeah. So this kind of breathing can really, it's so beneficial for so many places other than the stage. And
since we've worked together, I notice how often I catch myself just holding my breath. And your brain needs oxygen. And what I do during this breathing exercise is I use it as a time to edit my story too. So if I'm feeling attacked, as I'm breathing in, I'm like, what's real here? What's really the threat? Like, what do I know for sure? And then as I hold it, I do this weird thing where I just call on like sources bigger than me. Like those moments your head opens up and you get this cool answer. You're like, where'd that come from?
Right.
And then breathing out, I just make a commitment that I'm going to be a drama diffuser in this relationship, that I'm going to be helpful, not hurtful. Like I'm going to add value here. And so I combine the breathing when I remember to with some of the other techniques that we use at Reality Based Leadership. I love it.
I love that meld. So holding your breath, you asked me like, what is like what do we see as kind of, overarching?
It's the source of all evil.
Yeah, it is. And it can be such a game changer to learn how to do it well. And then the other game changer in a long breath is how we use our voices, right? So I train a lot of people who their voices quiver when they get nervous, right? And
this gotta be frustrating. I haven't had that, but that's frustrating.
I don't either, but people do, right? They feel powerless, right? Oh gosh, I have to ask for a raise. I need to stand up and speak at this meeting. I'm going to introduce somebody on stage, and oh my gosh, I think my voice is going to quiver, right? So breath is actually the key there too, because what happens when our voices are quivering is that our vocal cords, which are actually called vocal folds, are shutting. Because when our vocal folds feel fear,
that's the other place you're going to get attacked.
Because they are trying to protect us from water going down into our lungs. That is their purpose in our body, is to protect us from water going down. So they shut, right? They think that they're helping us out. And when they shut, our voices quiver. So the workaround to make sure your voice doesn't quiver is actually super easy. And like this has been a game changer for a lot of clients too, whose voices quiver, and now have a tool to help make sure that doesn't happen at these high stakes presentations. And the key is to breathe in, fill up your balloon the same way we're doing. And then on your exhale, put your finger here, your index finger here, so you can feel your breath. And then you're gonna make the sound you made as a kid when you were pretending to be a ghost, like this. You're going to breathe in, and then you're going to go, ooh. Does that sound like a ghost? Ooh.
It does.
Like the ghost sound.
Yeah.
Try it, okay?
Okay.
Breathe into your diaphragm.
Ooh.
Right? Can you feel your breath
Actually
here?
makes me cough.
You can feel your breath here.
Yeah.
Water. So if you can do that 3 to 5 times, obviously before you get up to speak, it'll stop your voice from quivering.
Yeah.
So it's another great tool using breath that will just help us, convey what's inside on the outside. So,
And what I love about the tools you give is it takes us from like victim, like, oh, I hope this goes well, and I hope the audience is receptive, and I hope I don't screw up, to you're not helpless,
No.
to I'm going to get intentional and make choices that set me up for success. And just the feeling of that, I end up feeling like, no, I got this. I remember who I am. So when I'm really doing this with my craft, it's like, no, I remember who I am. I have a really game-changing message to share. I care a ton about people, and I want to do it in a way that makes it really easy to consume. And I don't know, it's a centering. All of these things are centering you back into not being a victim, not being reliant
not being powerless.
Yep, not being helpless.
Yeah, and if you think about any performer or athlete, can you imagine them just saying like, well, I hope this goes well?
Yeah.
I've trained Olympic athletes, and there is hope is not, that is not their strategy. That is not their go-to tournament strategy, right? They train. This is about training.
But I see so many people, I'm at so many conferences that it's like, you're asked to get up and speak on this. They don't rehearse, like they prepare it, but they approach it as I am who I am, and I'm going to report out as I report out with very little intentionality, hoping that the information will just carry it. But as you said, it's 70% of how people receive it. If you want to give people the information without the distraction, it's better to just send them a report in an email.
100%.
Because what we bring,
right? I can read faster than you can speak.
We have big hotels, we have big fancy stages, we pay a lot of money to fly all these people in, and then we don't really get intentional or even rehearse the information we're going to give. I think it's a game changer for leaders, even if you're just sitting in a staff meeting or huddling in a hallway. For you to, I always say, don't go to a meeting without a plan and a tool, right? Because we don't want the ego, we want intentionality. And now I'm going to add with yourself prepared to deliver a great message.
Completely. And we train a lot of people that say, well, I'm told, an hour before I have this meeting, how could I possibly rehearse?
There's always something you can do.
You can always get one rehearsal, and you can use one of our templates, whether it's like put my message into the what, why, how bucket, or put my message into the past, present, future bucket, or put my message into the problem, solutions that aren't working, my solution bucket. So you spend a couple minutes strategizing about how to deliver this message. You get on your feet once and you practice. Everybody can do that, even if they're told they have an hour. And it's better than not doing it.
It will improve it. And what I love about your work is it is very much science-based. Even the templates are how to move behind that instant reaction, how to settle the mind, how to provide solutions. There's a cadence to them, just like any good story. The plot, you've got the opening, the plot, the plot twist, the closing. It's like those templates really help. So I hope people are excited about upping your game speaking wise. 20 years I was a speaker, and I just thought it was natural talent. I thought I was as good as I was going to get. I didn't invest in myself. I didn't value it, quite frankly. Weirdly enough, started loving your stuff on LinkedIn, and we connected again. There's a theme here for my listeners. I'm bringing you all these people that I never met before I connected with them on LinkedIn or social media. So how did they connect in with you? Because you provide tons of great content for free online.
Yeah, we do. Our website is moxieinstitute.com, MOXIE. You can connect with us there. On LinkedIn, Moxie Institute or Fia Fasbinder. On Instagram, on YouTube. We have people that are available to take your call. If you go on our website, you can just give us a call.
Yeah.
And we'd love to help.
Yeah. And you've got a great ebook I've read, and there's just a lot of great stuff out there. So make a commitment, focus on your breathing, up your game, even if your public speaking is to your 2 team members. Everybody can benefit when you're confident, clear, concise. When you have given your message some thought, it really is caring about other people. It shows respect. It builds trust. All those things we're trying to do as a leader. Thanks for making me better.
Gosh,
I appreciate
my pleasure. It's not hard to do.
Awesome.